Okay. We are going to start off by reviewing our DMR. So we are going to take a look at yesterday's DMR answers and see if you guys have any questions on the skills that we are reviewing this week. So I shall pull up the sharing of the screen. There it is. There it is. Boom. Okay. As you know, we are working on rounding. You have been asked here to round to the thousands place. We look at the place value next to us to see what it is going to be rounding to. So this is a 2 in the hundreds place, and we know that 2 or less, you give it a rest. 5 or more, you raise the score. So this is a 2, which tells us that we are going to rest or go down to 1,000. This isn't letting me type. Well, that's no fun. Go away. Oh, man. It hates me, guys. All right, well, then I guess we'll use this little fancy label tool. It is going to rest down to 1,000. 1,000 should have been the answer that you got. When we are rounding to the thousands place, our answer needs to be in plain thousands form. So it either would have been 1,000 or 2,000. With a 2 in the hundreds place, it is closer to going down. Next up, solve the equation 487 subtract 296. Let's do it this way. I'll switch my camera so you can see it. There we go. Maybe. We have 487 subtract 296. Take a look at my camera. I'm going to solve that one out. 487 subtract 296. 7 subtract 6 is going to give us 1. 8 tens subtract 9 tens is impossible. So we've got to regroup or borrow from our hundreds place. So now we have 18 tens subtract 9 tens, and that's going to give us 9 tens. We have 3 hundreds now, and we are subtracting 2 of them, so that gives us 100s. So the answer that you should have typed is 191. Any questions on that? Questions? No? Okay. All right. The answer to this kind of problem is called the difference. A difference is the answer to a subtraction problem, so you should have selected difference. Boom. Questions on that one? Okay. Pull you guys down here so I can see faces. There we go. Next step, find the area. Finding the area. 1 second, please. There we go. Area, we know that we have to multiply length times width. This is 9 times 8, or 8 times 9. I am going to use my 8ths song, and I'm going to count 9 times on that 8th song. So we're going to get jazzy with it, and that will look and sound like this. You got 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, and 64, and 72. Okay, so 72. That means that my answer is going to have a 72 in it. Now the difference is going to be that we need to have inches squared because we are working with area. So some of you yesterday chose 72 inches, which is wrong because that would just be the outside edge. We're looking at the inside, which means we need to measure both ways, and a square is going to have 2 of those sides, okay? 72 inches squared is your correct answer. Now we're looking at the same rectangle, and we're finding the perimeter this time. So we're going to add the side plus the side plus the side plus the side. So we're going to take this 9 And we know if this side is 9, then the opposite side is also 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Then I'm going to take the 8, and if the right side of my rectangle is 8, the left side also has to be 8, and that is 16. So now I've got two numbers that I can add up together. I know that 9 plus 9 is equal to 18. I know that 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. So now I'm going to add 18 plus 16. My 8 and my 6 are going to equal 14. So I'll carry my 10, put down my 4. And then I have my 10 plus my 10 plus my 1 extra 10 from the regrouping equals 34. So the numerical, the number part of my answer will be a 34. Now, there are 3 answers up here that say 34, and we're working with perimeter. So inches squared isn't going to work because that's area. 34 even isn't going to work because that's purple unicorns flying through space. 34 inches, ooh, actually doesn't work either because look, there's a mistake. This is feet. So the label should have said feet. I'll have to let Ms. Saxon know we made a mistake there. But we know that the label should just be a simple word inside of perimeter. None of y'all even told me about that on the upload yesterday. Oh. All right, next one. Draw a picture on your whiteboard to solve. We talked about how if you don't have a whiteboard, you can just use paper like I've been using. And then take a picture and upload that to Seesaw. So you should be solving your work on paper. It says, Miss Sharp watched 21 movies in 1 week over break. That's my kind of break right there. If she watched the same number of movies each of the 7 days of the week, how many movies did she watch each day? So here's what you can do to solve that one. Again, using my paper because I don't have a whiteboard, I'm going to make a little calendar that has the 7 days of the week. So I'm going to start off with a Sunday and a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Friday and a Saturday. And now I've got 7 days of the week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She watched 1 movie on each day until she got to 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So she watched 3 movies on Sunday, 3 movies on Monday, 3 movies on Tuesday, 3 movies on Wednesday, 3 movies on Thursday, 3 movies on Friday, and 3 movies on Saturday. So Miss Sharp watched 3 movies each day, which thankfully is one of our answers, so we know that we did our work correctly. Miss Sharp watched 3 movies each day. Now, this got quite a few of you the other day when you were completing this because a lot of you chose that she watched 21 movies each day. I understand the confusion there because it does say that she watched 21 movies in 1 week. But the question is, how many movies did she watch each day? She didn't watch 21 movies each day. She watched 21 movies in the whole week. So that's why drawing that picture can be very helpful to you. And I would strongly encourage you to use those pictures to help you solve your work. Okay. Any questions on that one from DMR? Feeling good, feeling good? Lovely. All right. Tomorrow is your DMR quiz. Tomorrow during math, we will go over today's DMR, and then you will take your quiz for the first grade of your 2021 to 2021 report card, the 2021 part. Great question in the chat. Josh says, could we have used the 3 song to solve that? Yes, you could have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. And you probably figured that out because if you counted by 7s, you would do that 3 times to get to 21 movies. 7, 14, 21, So there would be 3 on each of the days. Great call there, Joshua. All right, friends. We are getting ready to switch into our math lesson for the day. Ms. Thaxton's students, this was a assignment today, so you'll go ahead and open up the same assignment. My kiddos, it's coming out for you today. It's called Creating and Identifying Unit Fractions in Various Forms. Creating and Identifying Unit Fractions in Various Forms. The directions do ask to go ahead and click on the Add Response. We're going to work on portions of this together, and you're going to work on portions of this independently. So we're going to go ahead and open it up now, okay? So creating and identifying unit fractions in various forms. Go ahead and click on the Add Response button. When you do that, it's going to open you up to today's success criteria. I'm going to play the video on my computer. You can just look and follow along as we go with your eyes.
Today we're going to continue with Math Learning Target 3G4. Partition shapes into parts with equal areas. Express the area of each part as a unit fraction of the whole, using 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/6, and 1/8. The only thing we're going to do differently today is we're going to also represent the unit fractions using different models.
So we've looked at models like the circle model, the rectangular model, and we took notes on the number line. Today we're going to really dive into that number line as well as looking at parts of a set. So remember my bag of fruit snacks and how that's one bag of fruit snacks, but it has many parts inside of it. We're going to look at items like that today. Go ahead and go to slide 2. Our directions here say slides 2 and 3 complete with your teacher. So this is an example, and this example has been completed for us by Ms. Thaxton. Looking at it right here, you see all of the correct answers, okay? In the center, we've been given the fraction 1/2. That means we're using one part, and there are 2 parts on the whole. If we look in the left corner, we see a rectangular model that has been divided into 2 parts, and each part has been labeled with 1/2. If we look over here to the right, we see a number line, and a number line has started at 0, has finished at 1, and there are 2 parts inside of it. A lot of times, 3rd graders like to count the lines as parts, but we wouldn't do that. We would take a look at the spaces between the lines. And the reason is, I want you to imagine you have a cake. Let's get some nice brown icing for a chocolate cake. So let's say this were a cake. And let's say this is where the pan starts, it's at 0, and all the way over here is where the pan ends, so you have a whole cake. If I were to cut this cake, you would understand that there are 2 pieces. There's one piece right here, there's one piece right here. You guys would never say, no, there's 3 pieces. Look, there's a piece right here, there's a piece right here, and there's a piece right here. You guys would never do that. But for some reason on number lines, that is a mistake that is made. Students count the lines. I want you to imagine it's like a cake, and it's like the knife marks in a cake where it has been cut. You guys would never count the space where the knife goes on the cake and say, yeah, that's the piece. I can eat that right there. You can't eat that. It's a cut line, okay? It's the same thing here. We count the spaces between those cut lines, okay? So on a number line, we want to be very careful with that. Down here, we see that there is a group. This is a group of friends. And 1/2 of those friends is a dog. And the other half of those friends is another Pokemon that I don't know the name of. And Steve Rogers is probably about to go crazy on me. I don't know the name of it. But this is a group of Pokemon. One half of them is blue, one half of them is red, okay? And then we have the familiar circle model with, again, 2 pieces. We know the total number of parts. There are 2 parts on the rectangle, 2 parts on the number line, 2 friends in the Pokemon group, 2 halves of the circle. The unit fraction is 1/2. We labeled those on each model. And we can see that there are also 2 fractions on each model, 1 fraction for each part. Are there questions on this right now? Questions on any of the models before we start to create them? And I understand that sometimes your questions will come on, Steve says, poor Pokemon. I understand that your questions might come on as we work through them, so I'm anticipating those as well. Steve, what are the names of these Pokemon? Do you know? Can you help me?
The blue one is called Tangela, pure grass type, the only pure grass type of Gen 1. And then the other one is Slowpoke. Its name suggests what its personality is like.
Thank you. Very informative. Very informative. All right. Go ahead and read. We're actually going to try to solve some of these together. So go ahead and move on to slide 3. We can see that we've been given the fraction 1/6. Okay. Let's take a look at our first shape. We've been given a hexagon. Go ahead and grab a writing tool that you can use digitally. So not like a pen or pencil in your hand, but something that you can cut or partition your shapes with. And I want to point out something to you. Notice how many edges there are on the shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 edges on the shape. We need 6 parts in our fraction. So I'm going to suggest that we think about each edge as a part of the piece that we're going to create. So let's go ahead and right here in the center, let's put a dot where the center is. I'm going to put a dot kind of right there where the middle of the shape is. This was a great strategy that Aiden G was using yesterday, and I believe it was genius. So we're going to adopt that strategy, courtesy of Aiden G. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take each corner and we're going to connect it to the center. Boom. And then I'm going to take this corner and connect it to the center. And you're going to see that we're going to start to create some triangle pieces. And when we connect each center point to the outer corner, we're going to end up with 6 pieces. So go ahead and continue on doing that. Connect a line from the center to the corner of the shape. Boom. And again, I'm not human, so these aren't perfect. I do see one, or I am human, so these aren't perfect. Haha, just kidding. I'm not a robot, I promise. So I'm going to erase this line, and I'm going to redraw it because I think I can make it better so that the pieces are more even. So you want to make sure, I understand that perfection is not going to happen because we are humans, but we do want to make sure that it's our best effort, right? We don't want to turn something in that we can clearly see is not an equal size. So these are pretty close. As a human, I feel pretty good about those. Leah, a question. One second, dear, I'll unmute you. I had some friends that kept clicking unmute, so I had to do a permanent mute. Go ahead, love.
You can also just draw an X and put a line in the middle.
Yes, so I see what you're saying. Let me draw that over here. Leah is saying if you imagine these lines, they're creating an X from corner to corner, and then there's one line going across the center, and that would create the same divisions. Yes, ma'am. Good pattern noticing. So now we have created 1/6. Okay. We are supposed to label each of these as a unit fraction. So go ahead and grab your labeling tool. open a text box, and I'm going to show you a real quick cheat way to get this done. Type a 1. And then type a slash sign. It's on the same key as your question mark. So the key that you would press to make a question mark, press it, and it will give you the slash, and then put a 6, because we're dealing with 1/6. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this fit inside of my piece, and then I'm not going to type this 6 more times. I'm just going to duplicate it. Duplicate and move. 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 Boom. Work smarter, not harder, people. And now we've completed a shape partition of our hexagon. Each of the pieces are equal sized. Each of the pieces has a label. Ian, a question. Ian, are you there?
I don't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Who can hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs down if you can't. Okay. Ian, you might need to play with the volume on your computer because it appears that other people in here can hear me. I'm so sorry about that. All right. Go ahead and take a look at this number line. Before we start on the number line, I have a nice song that we're going to listen to that's going to help us understand fractions on a number line. Miss Renaway has not stopped singing this song since we found it before Christmas break. Over winter break, she was actually sending me lyrics of the song because she thinks it's so great. So we'll see if she's up to some good knowledge here. So we're going to take a look at this. This is fractions on a number line, and then we're going to solve our fractions on a number line. So just look and listen and think about what this is teaching.
Friend if she could help me find where to write 1/2 on the number line. She said,
first draw a line with 2 arrows.
Then she sang a song. Here's how it goes. 0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the first mark. And 1/2 is what you'll find when you get that far. Animal can't talk, but I thought I heard.
Hey Ben, on the number line, where's 1/3?
I said first draw a line with 2 arrows. And hey, I know a cool tune. Here's how it goes. 0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the first mark. And 1/3 is what you'll find when you get that far. Then I texted my friend, what's to be done when the numerator isn't 1? She said,
let's try to find 5/9 on the number line in like no time. Simply partition 9 parts from 0 to 1. Starting from 0, count 5, and at 5 nines we arrive.
Ooh, 0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make a line that starts from 0 to the 5th mark. And 5 nines is what you'll find when you get that far.
Let's use the number line to this describe this by. First count the total pieces, there are 5. 5's the denominator of the parts, so 5 goes underneath the fraction bar. This number line goes from 0 to 2, but the fraction's less than 1, so here's what to do. Make 5 equal spaces from 0 to 1. Now the final step before we're done. The numerator is the one piece that's mine. After the first space, I'll have 1/5 of the line. Just remember this one tip in your mind. Always count the spaces, never the lines.
0 to 1 is the whole that we split apart. The denominator tells us into how many parts. Make the line that starts from 0 to the first part. And 1/5 is what you'll find when you get that far.
When you get that far, yeah. Uh-huh.
Aren't you guys so happy? Another song to see you now. You're so happy. I know, guys. So guess what? We're going to look at this number line. Ready? 0 to 1 is the whole where we start. Oh, yeah. So we could see this number line is from 0 to 1. So if we had the whole thing, we would be over here at 1. We've been asked to show where 1/6 is, okay? So just like on slide 2, we're going to label how many parts are on this number line, okay? So go ahead and grab 1/6, and I'm going to duplicate it again. Duplicate. I'm going to have to make this a pretty tiny 1/6 because it's got to fit in spaces. Remember, we're never going to count the lines as a part of a number line. Just like we would count the knife marks or the cuts in a cake as a piece, right? We would count the space between where it's been cut because that's what we lift up out of the pan. So I'm going to label each one as 1/6 of the number line. So there's 1/6. The next space is 1/6. The next space is 1/6. I hope you're duplicating along with me. The next space is 1/6. And so far we have 4/6. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 6/6 in order to have all of our parts for this fraction. Boom. And just for good measure, I'm going to count and make sure that I actually do have all 6 shown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Boom. Check that out. I have all 6 pieces. Oh, yeah. Zero to 1 is the whole where we start. The denominator tells us how many parts. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be singing to you guys this whole fraction unit. You guys are so happy. Christopher's going to log into office hours and say, Miss Sousa, can you please sing that song to me? And I'll say, sure, Christopher. And then Anton tonight is not going to be able to fall asleep, so he's going to log into YouTube and he's going to listen to me sing that song to him as a lullaby. Isn't that right, Anton? Oh, Leah, you love it. All right, so this is our number line. Let's go ahead and skip parts of a group. We're going to take a look at our circle model next, okay? Now, I have a circle model that I have been shown inside of my notes. So if I forget what a circle model is supposed to look like, oh yes, it needs to look like rounded triangular pieces. I can't just chop lines going straight up and down. Remember we talked about that. If I do this, those are not the same distance. Look how teeny tiny and skinny this one is and how big and fat that one is. No, 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 no. We must create those triangular looking parts. So we're going to do the same thing we did for the hexagon. Go ahead and grab a dot and place it in the center of that circle. This is where all of our lines, our partitions, are going to come to meet. So now I'm going to go ahead and create 6. But if you remember, we learned when we were taking our digital notes to first create the half, which is thirds, because we know that 6 is double of 3. So go ahead and create that upside down Y or that peace sign. Oop, I don't like the way that line started. I'm going to change it. Go ahead and create that peace sign or that upside down Y inside of that circle. And if you remember, all we have to do is extend each line. So this line stopped in the center. I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to look at this top line that stopped in the center, and I'm going to keep it going, so that I have 3 lines that go all the way across my circle. And the last line stopped in the center, and I'm going to keep it going. Okay, so now we have 6 pieces. And again, I'm going to work smarter, not harder. I'm going to grab that 1 6 that I already created, and I'm going to duplicate it. Boom. And I'm going to label each part as 1 6. Terrence, did you have a question?
So do we have to put the whole,
What do you mean?
the in the middle?
It's a strategy that I find very helpful so that I get my picture neat and organized. But if you don't feel like you need it, that's totally fine. It just helps me to keep myself organized. But if you feel like you got it down pat, no need to use a strategy that you don't need, right? It's just a strategy if you would like to use it. Leah, a question. Oh, I clicked mute. Sorry, go ahead. There we go.
So also you can do is just draw a Y straight side up and a Y upside down.
You can, yes, that would be another way to do it. You'll also notice if you look at the hexagon and the circle, it's the same thing as an X with a line. It's just this line went straight up and down instead of across. Very similar. Great pattern noticings. Jared, a question.
What's it called?
What's what called?
I forgot what I'm gonna say.
Ah, dang it. Jared, if you remember, let me know, okay? I'd be happy to help. All right. Okay, so we've got 3 of our 4 done. We're going to take a look at parts of a group, okay? For parts of a group, I have another short video. Unfortunately, the song. I know you're all so sad, but it's only a minute long. This is going to show us that fruit snack example I told you about. 1 pack of fruit snacks has lots of parts. So this is what we call a set, okay? When you have 1 package that has many things inside of it, we call it a set. This is how we can create fractions with sets.
Fractions from a group of objects. For example, suppose you have 7 apples, and you want to write what fraction of the apples are green apples. The whole is all of the apples. There are 7 apples. So the denominator is 7. The parts are each of the apples. 3 of the apples are green. So the numerator is 3. So 3/7 of the apples are green. Let's look at another example. There are 10 pets. Suppose you want to write what fraction of the pets are cats. The whole is all of the pets. There are 10 pets, so the denominator is 10. The parts are each of the pets. 7 of the pets are cats, so the numerator is 7. So 7/10 of the pets are cats. Let's look at one last example. There are 5 blocks. Suppose you want to write what fraction of the blocks are yellow. The whole is all of the blocks. There are 5 blocks, so the denominator is 5. The parts are each of the blocks. 2 of the blocks are yellow, so the numerator is 2. So 2/5 of the blocks are yellow. In the remainder of this lesson, you'll get practice writing fractions based on a group of objects.
All right, so we're going to practice writing those groups of objects, and I love it. In the chat, I had several people sending me these to figure out before the video. Great job paying attention and thinking actively. So we can see that we have a group here. This is our set. This is our group of balls. So I'm going to put them actually inside a group. I'm going to draw a backpack that they're inside of. See, I do know something, Steve Rogers. So they're inside of a backpack, okay? We know that there are 6 of these Pokeballs. So each Pokeball is 1/6 of the total inside of the backpack. So this is 1/6 of the Pokeballs. And I'll duplicate this into 1/6 of the Pokeballs. And I will duplicate this into 1/6 of the Pokeballs. And I will do the same thing for the remaining 3 1/6 pieces, so that I have a total of 6 1/6 pieces. Boom. Each Pokeball represents 1/6 of the total Pokeballs in the backpack. Jared.
What's it called? I already did this.
Yes, that's what I shared earlier. You were going to reopen it and check over it. Ian, was that your question as well?
Here's a trick to duplicate. Just put Control C and Control V to duplicate.
You are right. That is copy and view. So yes, you can press Control C to copy, and then when you press Control V, it'll pop up over here. Thank you for reminding us of that technology trick. Okay, so you now have an example of how to find fractions, unit fractions, on shapes, number lines, and in groups or sets. What questions can I answer about groups, number lines, or shapes with fractions? Terrence.
We're gonna do some in breakout rooms.
You are getting ready to log off here in a few minutes, so you're going to work through these independently. More Pokemon, look at that. Ooh, I do know that one. Pikachu and that, oh, that's not Squirtle. I want to say Squirtle and that's not right. Steve Rogers is shaking his head at me. I can feel it. You can feel it. All right. So you are, according to the view instructions, going to complete slides 4 through 6 according to the given unit fraction, okay? So these are just like what we did. There's a fraction in the center, and you're going to create that model with each one of these, okay? You're going to do the same thing for 5, only the fraction is 1/4, and the same thing for 6, only the fraction is 1/8, okay? You also need to complete slides 7 and 8. They say, name the unit fraction that matches each model. There's an example here that Miss Saxton does for you if you need to see it. 8 is the same thing. You're going to look at the picture and label the unit fraction. Okay. On 9, as always, you are going to rate yourself according to your success criteria. You are going to use math vocabulary in that explanation. So I know I need more practice because it was hard is not an explanation. You might say something like, I know I need more practice because I don't know what a unit fraction is. Now your teacher knows how to help you. Okay. On slide 10, there is a video that you can watch if you would like extra practice identifying unit fractions. Okay, this is if you would like that extra practice or help. Please remember as you're working, you can always watch the videos that we watched clicking right here. These are the links to the song that we listened to and the one with the set as well. Okay. All right, kiddos, that is your assignment.